When crafting your next super cool build, the last thing you want is for poor ventilation to hold you back. So, in this video, we'll check out the top 5 best airflow PC cases ready to unleash maximum cooling on even the sweatiest components. Whether you're going full custom loop or all-out air cooling, these cases have massive intakes, ventilated designs, and room for tons of fans to keep your temps ice cold at any budget. So, let's check them out. Starting off, we have the NZXT H7 Flow. One of the biggest problems for airflow is when cables start blocking fans from doing their job. That's why the H7 Flow was designed with careful cable management in mind. This case has tons of channels and tie-off points to get those cables out of the way so air can just cruise through. And NZXT took it a step further with an open-air design on the top. That means you've got additional options for the airflow to come in from the front and out the top. Plus, it gives you plenty of room up top to mount huge radiators for water cooling. Speaking of cooling, this case can handle some serious heat. You can slap up to a 360 mm radiator in front or on top. While most builds don't even need that much, the case also supports 3 140 mm fans for maximum cooling, just in case when you need them. Oh, and NZXT throws in 2 of their own F-series fans, so you save a few bucks there as well. Just be aware that the minimal look means the I/O is basic. 2 USB-A and 1 USB-C port is all you get. It's not a deal breaker, but it may be limiting if you need a ton of front ports. Overall, the H7 Flow is a stellar choice if you prioritize airflow first and frills second. Great cable management and huge radiator support make it a top pick for optimized cooling. While good airflow and budget friendliness don't always go hand in hand, the Cooler Master MasterBox NR600 is aiming to change that. Now I know what you're thinking. No way cable management is any good in a cheap case, right? Well, you'd be partially right, as cable tie-offs are definitely lacking here. But where it counts, the NR600 delivers big time for airflow. Up top and on the front, you've got massive mesh panels, bringing in a rush of fresh air to keep things cool. Yes, a mesh can disrupt airflow a tiny bit in comparison to something like tempered glass, but it also keeps dust and dirt out of your rig much better over the long run. And honestly, the trade-off is worth it in my books. Cooling potential is no slouch either. Stick a 280 mm AIO up front or a 240 mm up top. And don't forget the trusty 120 mm out back for your CPU. There is also room for either 2 140 mm or 3 120 mm fans on the front and another pair up top. With a little fan mixing and matching, you could pack 6 fans total into this case for hardcore airflow overkill. Hardware support is also quite flexible. It fits both MATX and ATX boards with ease. Just be mindful of length limits. Your PSU should not exceed 180 mm max and graphics cards 410 mm max. So, you'll definitely want to double check the dimensions before buying to ensure everything fits inside. On the whole, the MasterBox NR600 is a killer option for budget builds that still want excellent thermal performance. Cable management could see some improvement, but those massive intake panels and big cooling potential more than make up for it in my books. With a bit of planning, this case will treat your components right for years to come. The next PC case is quite gigantic, and I mean that in the best possible way. As a full tower case, the 7000D Airflow can swallow up just about any hardware you throw at it. We're talking a 450mm GPU length limit, so even monsters like the RTX 4090 will fit with room to spare. And 190mm of clearance for CPU coolers? Overkill doesn't even begin to describe it. But the real party piece is airflow. You can strap as many as 12 fans inside. That's right, you could theoretically jam 3 360mm radiators in there. Now, admittedly, I have no idea what you'd do with all that cooling potential, but it sure would look sick. And your high-end CPU and GPU will love its front 480mm mount or front and top 420mm mounts. Of course, this much airflow excellence doesn't come without limits. At over 41 pounds, you'll definitely want a spotter to wrangle this absolute unit of a case. Once it's set up, portability is basically non-existent. Maneuvering the whole thing will definitely ask for a helping hand. It's not a budget-friendly option either. But if money and space aren't concerns, the 7000D is a tough one to beat because of its out-of-this-world cooling and hardware compatibility, so it's definitely a wise investment. If you have issues with space and don't really know where to put your PC, then the Lancool 205M can be the perfect pocket-sized powerhouse for you. Now, going micro ATX means sacrificing some features, like only fitting micro or mini ATX boards. You also only get 375mm of GPU clearance, so really big GPUs won't quite squeeze in. You can slap a 240mm radiator on both the top and front. You could even double up, but keeping those tubes tidy would be quite the squeeze. Then again, you probably don't need 2 big ones anyway. However, there's no radiators out back, just a 120mm exhaust fan for your overworked CPU. so you'll likely have to combine top and front panel radiators of various sizes. It seems the cable routing was smartly considered, though, since the interior space is limited. You can easily stash extra cables behind the motherboard tray, and the removable PSU shroud makes for easy access. It'll still be a bit cramped, but these features help maximize what little space is available. Yet, for mini builds, tight budgets, or limited desk space, it's a mighty little workhorse. Sometimes less is more, right? At first glance, you might write off the NR200P Max as too tiny to get the job done. But don't let its compact size fool you. This little powerhouse has serious tricks up its sleeve for optimized airflow. Right out of the box, you're treated to an 850-watt SFX Gold PSU with custom cables to squeeze into tight spaces. And a pre-installed 280mm AIO radiator is already on deck to take heat duties from your CPU. Now, liquid cooling that beefy new GPU isn't really an option, as the included AIO is dedicated to keeping your processor below ice cold. But don't sweat it. Airflow throughout this small case is still on point despite the compact layout. Just be aware of the 336mm GPU length and 140mm height limits if you're packing serious graphics muscle. Accessibility is no problem either, thanks to a swing-out riser that lets you swing your graphics card out like a door for easy installs and upgrades. And fully removable panels provide full 360-degree access to your squeezed-in components. It may be tiny, but the NR200P Max allows full visibility for your builds. For the price, this mini powerhouse offers unmatched value for the integrated cooling and cable solutions. Assembly can feel a bit crammed, but optimized airflow more than makes up for the tight quarters. For seriously small stature systems that don't sacrifice performance, the NR200P Max is a stellar stealth box choice. Thanks for watching. If you want more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, press the bell icon for instant notification so that you never miss a video from Tech Insight.